All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's guest competed at Hex Fight Series 26 in their co-main event on May 26 at Melbourne Pavilion. Josh Togo, he took on George Sotiropoulos, who is spent 9 years out of the cage, and before that, who's an Australian pioneer, 7-fight win streak in the UFC, and one of the greatest athletes, especially at the time, that we had ever produced at the Ultimate Fighting Championship level. And he took on the number one lightweight in Australia, which is Josh Togo, who joins me. And it's a very interesting chat because their fight actually ended in a bit of controversy. There was a couple of eye pokes. Then the doctor came in. There was some trouble with the fact that the doctor didn't do he didn't take his due diligence the right way, and basically the fight got called off, and it was very, very controversial. Some shit even happened backstage. Got a bit wild, but either way, we've got Josh on so he can explain his side and what's next. But it's a really good chat. It's really focused on just the co-main event, Hex Fight Series 26 fight. So if you didn't see it, I mean, go check it out, Fight TV, or head up hexfightseries.com and find out how you can check it out there. But yeah, we basically just cover that fight. So check it out, then come back, come watch this, and hopefully you enjoy it. Like I said, and like I always say, if you're on YouTube, check it out on the podcast. If you're on the podcast, hit up the YouTube Australian MMA. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, the number one lightweight in Australia, as per Tapology, Josh Togo. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show, Josh Togo, mate, fresh off Hex 26, the most anticlimactic finish, and you had to do it twice. That's two no contests, Hex back to back. How does that feel? First of all, talk us through a no contest.
Look, people have been coming up to me and asking me how it's been feeling, what it's like. The way I've been saying it is just a waste of time. That's how it feels. You feel like you just waste your time. You put all that hard work and every bit of effort into your training, into your dieting, into your weight cutting, the sacrifices, everything that you've just been doing over those 8 weeks for nothing, for a no result, no outcome, and it's just a waste of time.
So for those that don't know, basically what happened is Hex 26, May 26 at Melbourne Pavilion, you versus George Sotiropoulos. He'd caught you with an inadvertent eye poke almost a minute beforehand and then got you with a second one. Can you clear this up? Were we second round, third round?
Second round.
Second round. Sorry. Yeah. So you were, and those that don't know is that basically the fight was called off. It wasn't deemed as on purpose by the referee, by George Sotiropoulos. But either way, the doctor came in, and I'll just say what happened. Then you can break it down from your end. Basically, what it looked like was that the doctor came in, had a look at you. You said you were willing to fight. He did no visual test at all, waved it off. We then go, I believe, and you can hear it on the broadcast on Fight TV, the ref says we're going to the scorecards because it's over half the fight. And you basically just go, okay, enough of the fight's gone. We'll determine a winner based on the scorecards. They then eventually brought you guys in, no contest. Now, can you tell it from your point of view?
Honestly, so yeah, the first eye poke, it was definitely an accident. And like, all the eye pokes, I mean, both eye pokes, they were both accidents. They weren't intentional. And coming from George's point of view, like, he's a grappler. He's looking for a way to find a way into grapple. So obviously he's going to keep his hands open. Both eye pokes were accidental. It was just, towards the end of the second round, the second one got more deeper in there. And I posted up on my socials what it looked like, because I don't think he sort of realized the seriousness of the eye poke until after the fight. But the doctor comes in. He didn't even ask me if I wanted to continue. He just goes, look to your left. And I look to my left, and he goes, fight's off. And I'm like, but I can keep going. I can fight. I'm fine. I can fight. And he's like, fight's off. I'm like, I'm fine. I looked at the ref. I said, I'm fine. I can keep fighting. I'm fine. Like, look, mind you, like, I wanted to keep fighting. Like, my eye was fucked. Sorry for my language, but yeah, my eye was a bit, it was gone a bit. I could barely see, but I wanted to just keep going because I wanted to fight.
Could you see?
like by the time it cleared up, if I was given my 5 minute break, yeah, as they should give you, I would have been out. I would have been fine. And now that doctor, he should have given me the time to recover. He should have done his visual test. And then if I pass that visual test, he should have asked me, are you okay to fight? That's when I would have obviously cleared. The whole time I kept saying, I'm fine, I can fight. Then, yeah, fight gets waved off. Okay, look, it's over the halfway mark. Everyone there knew, including the commentators, including the corners, it goes to the scorecards. There was a bit of a delay by the time the judges and the doctors outside the cage were taking their time. My corner, I kept asking them, what's going on? What's going on? Are they going to the scorecards? What are they doing? They were starting getting frustrated because they knew, Ash and Suman knew it should have went to scorecards, and they could see that was going to a no contest. So, yeah, ref comes in, declares it a no contest, and that's it. Fight's over. So, yeah, from the beginning, from when I said, like, it was a waste of time, that's how I feel. It was just a waste of time. I was fine to fight. I'm a man of heart. I'm a man of courage. I would have continued regardless of whatever happened.
Now, look, I was going to say, you're the number one, as per Tapology, you're the number one lightweight in Australia. It was the co-main event of, if not the biggest promotion in Australia, top two, without a doubt. It's the highest level. That was not a fight doctor. That was a regular doctor that just saw, you had a bit of a, because you did. I spoke to you after the fight. You had a little bit of a mark on your eye, but you look at you now, and like you're fine type thing. So it's like it's clearly they made the wrong decision. If it did go to the scorecards, I was unsure about the first round. I thought it was a bit of a nothing round. Potentially he could have got it. I wouldn't have cared either way, right? Second round, in all honesty, I thought you really started to let the hands go and you really started to light it up on the feet. How did you see those first two rounds?
Yeah. So look, first round, he ended up grabbing me. It was early in the round. I've rewatched the fight. He honestly, they go, oh yeah, he tried to take him down. Like he tried to take me down. He didn't get me to the ground. So technically, it was like from my lens, it was a failed takedown attempt. Mm-hmm. He only had my back for about 30 seconds. I broke out of it, and purely based on some of the strikes that were thrown, I landed a bit more efficiently, and I believe I took the first round, and I really do believe that. Second round, 100%, I definitely took that second round.
Yeah.
So if it went to the scorecards, I definitely would have. I 100% won. That's the way I look at it.
And I will ask you about one thing in the first round. There was a point where he tried to take you down. I think you reached out. You may have got your fingers in the cage. I couldn't see it, so that's why I'm asking you now. Did that affect the takedown at all when you got a hold of that cage?
No, I looked at the video. I think I know, I'll be honest with you. I grabbed it for about a second and then let go because I knew not to hold onto the fence. And I let go because I knew the ref was going to say let go. So I let go. And look, that's professionalism at its finest. So I let go. I sort of just rode the wave of where he was going to take. He took it to the center, and I just knew straight away how to get out of that. I've drilled and worked a lot of back take defense a lot in my career, so I just knew what I had to do to fight out of that and get up and get out. And obviously in the fight, you see that I broke out, and I timed it. It was about 30 to 35 seconds. He had my back, or he from start to finish of him trying to secure that takedown. Then I broke out, and then that's 4.5 minutes my way. I definitely took over.
Yeah, and with all this controversy that happened, what do you have a relationship with George? Have you talked to George? Because you guys didn't seem like obviously you got along even after that fight.
To be honest, no. Look, I've never really had an issue with him. I've never had a problem. I'd like to hope he doesn't have a problem with me. I just think, look, we just both want to fight. We're both lightweights. He's an old school UFC pioneer of Australia lightweight, and I'm an upcoming lightweight, and I think we just both want to fight. But yeah, look, I have no issues with him. I just think we should definitely rematch, and I just think we got to see who the better man is.
And when they first gave you this fight, did you believe it? I mean, it's George Sotiropoulos, 9 years out of the cage. He was a pioneer, like a 7-fight win streak in the UFC. When they came to you with this fight, were you like, nah, get out of here?
Yeah, because we sort of knew about the fight before it got announced on socials. It could have been maybe 3 to 4 weeks prior. Suman was saying, "Oh, I've got you a fight on Hex." I'm like, "Okay, sweet, no worries." And I was like, "Who is it?" And when he said George, I'm like, "You mean George Sotiropoulos, the guy that hasn't been around for 9 years? He's the 45-year-old." He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No way." I was like, "Wow, that's actually a hectic fight. I'll take that fight. Let's go." But yeah, look, I didn't believe he would actually take it because I was thinking, oh, maybe he just wants to fight again. Maybe he just wants to test himself again. I didn't think he would take a fight against me. I thought maybe he would take more of a tune-up fight before he sort of starts challenging the top 5 lightweight fighters in Australia. But as soon as we got close to the date, I kept asking Sumo. I said, "Is it locked in or what? Does he want to fight or are we not fighting?" And then, yeah, I seen the contract and I was like, "Wow, let's go. He wants to fight." So yeah, no, it was. I really do hope we get the rematch because I do want to make sure that we get to determine who the real winner is. 3x5, 5x5. So, look, I'm more confirmed on my end. Just I'll leave the balls in George's end now. So it's up to him what he wants to do.
Were you impressed by George's performance at all? Because at least, I mean, and this is from a fan point of view, and I spoke to a few people. We were a bit obviously concerned having a 45-year-old George Sotiropoulos come out. And of course, he was what he was in his career. But 9 years later, you're not sure. You go, is it a payday? Is it going to be like a starching from you? And it's just you beating up on an old man. That's what some of us sort of thought going in. I personally was very impressed with George, but how was it like being in there with him?
Yeah, look, I'll give some credit to him because prior to going into this fight, I had a lot of thoughts. I was like, what's he going to bring? Because he's been out for 9 years and I just don't know what he's going to bring into the cage. And it was just a lot of there's a lot of ifs and buts and this and that because I watched a lot of his footage, and I was thinking, like, I don't think he's going to do that. But is he going to do that? I don't think he's going to even try that, but he might try that. So there's just a lot of questions about what he was going to do. But when we started, I guess in the first minute or so, I was like, okay, look, George is back, and now I know what he's going to do. I'll give it to him. He's still worried for a fucking 45-year-old. He's still got it, but yeah. I just wasn't expecting what he was going to do, but also I knew he was going to be a smart fighter because as you age, you age with more maturity. So I knew that he wasn't just going to be just some guy coming in brawling, banging. Like I've watched a lot of these fights, and I've watched all these footage leading into this fight, and I was thinking, yeah, like he's very smart. He calculates a lot when he goes to go for his takedowns or when he comes into strike, when he goes to shoot, all those types of things. So I kind of knew that he was going to be very intelligent in his fight. And yeah, so look, I do want a rematch. That's all I want. Yeah. I want a rematch.
I was gonna say I have talked to Jacob of Hex, promoter of Hex, and he said he's gonna touch base with both camps, but like if that's what you guys want, then that's what they're gonna want to do. I do have to ask you one thing, man. Obviously I was backstage at Hex as well. Your team, love them, Australian top team. Some of the best guys. I love Suman. Love Fahud stuff. I love Ashkan. Like I like you guys' style and your swag. However, it got a little heated backstage. Perhaps security came and had a little look. Can you talk me through What was going on there and why it got so heated in the back?
Look, I'll be honest with you. All I heard was the whole kerfuffle. I didn't see none of it because all I did is as soon as I walked backstage, I went up and sat in my chair in the corner with my head down because I was just so shitty about the outcome. I couldn't have given a shit about what was going on down the other end because there was all this kerfuffle and arguing and yelling and push and shove type of stuff. But yeah, I didn't see none of it. All I could just hear was voices yelling and pushing, and yeah. But honestly, I couldn't give. If I had an answer, I'd give it to you right now. But I didn't see none of it. I was just too upset with the outcome of what happened.
That's classic Sydney. I didn't see shit.
Hey, come on, man.
Will you fight in Melbourne again? Because obviously you're not having the best time with the commission and judges and doctors.
Yeah, look, we are going to push to get it overturned because I've spoken with Suman and that. He's given us some brief details on what's going on. So hopefully by the end of the week, we get some confirmation of what's going on. But yes, 100%, I want to fight in Melbourne again. If Jacob's keen, if Hex is keen to get me on, if George is keen to rematch, man, let's do it. I'm always down. I'm number one lightweight. They're all chasing me. You know, I don't pick and choose. I'm ready to fight whoever. So whoever it is, let's do it.
Well, speaking of whoever it is, I do have one question for you. There is a title fight for the belt you once held, the Eternal MMA lightweight belt, June 10th, HBF Stadium in Perth. Blake Donnelly, Quillan Sourkield. Who do you think is going to take that one?
Oh, look, I'm not going to rustle any feathers, but if you want my honest opinion, I've watched both fighters and they're both really good. But look, I can't look past Blake. Blake's got, he's a very good striker. He's very slick with his takedown defense. He knows the ins and outs. He's a bit more further up there in his career. But look, sorry, what's his? I can't pronounce his oven. What's his name?
Quillan Sourkield.
Quillan. Yeah. I've watched some of his fights and he's very impressive. He's very slick too. He's got some good striking and his ground game is very solid. So it's going to be a good fight regardless. And I'll be tuning in to watch.
Did they contact you at all for that? No. Do you think I'm going to ask you this. I'm a natural pot stirrer, mate. But do you think Quillan Sourkield deserves that lightweight shot?
Look, I think whoever deserves that lightweight shot is whoever Eternal want to give the shot to. So it's up to them. I don't have no say. I'm just a fighter.
I love it. Mate, if you can't get this George fight by August, which I think is the next show, are you going to wait for it? Do you want to move on? Obviously, Sydney Urban Fight Night's still doing great. Are you trying to get as many fights as you can this year, or are you being a bit more sort of picky as you hit the top end of your career?
I'm happy to fight. Like, we're going to try and get on Hex again because the key is to try and get at least one, even two more fights. Obviously, UFC comes around in September here in Sydney. Man, I'd love to put on a show before then and try and get on one of the prelim cards on the UFC. That would be, that's the dream. That's everyone's goal. That's what everyone's chasing. So hopefully something before UFC in Sydney. But look, I'm happy to fight on any show, wherever it is, even if it's not in Sydney. If you look at my career, all my fights, a majority of my fights have been on interstate and international. I barely fight in my own backyard. So wherever it is, I'm happy to go. Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne again, Brisbane. Yeah. I'm happy to fight in anyone else's backyard.
I mean, I love it. The first fight I ever saw of yours was against Marcus McKeever at the Italian club in Perth. So that's how long I've been around now. But mate, I've got to ask you just quickly before I let you go as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Sydney MMA scene doesn't seem as poppin' as it once was. Obviously, still great fighters, but like, why is that?
No, look, I can't give you an answer to that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answers to that question. But I do know what you're saying, and I do know where you're coming from. Um, because there were a few other promotions here in Sydney that were leading away like over 10 years ago, right?
Mm.
But they just seem to have died off. We got Urban leading the way here in Sydney, New South Wales as well. So yeah, it's that's obviously our look premier show here in New South Wales. But yeah, with a lot of those other shows, look, there's been Hard Knocks, there's been Brace. You got is it Super Fight? Super Fight's
Yeah.
still around. They don't do as many
Mm.
shows. So yeah, it's I wouldn't say the scene's dead. It's just
Mm.
it's something that we just need to revisit and bring alive again.
And without a doubt, they will, with you leading the charge. And I promise this is the last question before I let you go. Well, after it's all said and done, how does Josh Togo want to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
Never really thought of that, but you know what? Next time we have a chat, I'll
Yeah.
have an answer.
Well, I'll be in Sydney for UFC Sydney in September. I'll ask you again.
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%. You know what? Ask me then. I'll have an answer for you.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. Obviously, very disappointing at Hex, but you looked amazing. You looked great, and despite all the shit that happened, you held yourself with class. And look, mate, I can't wait to see you get back out there, and obviously to see your career continue.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for the chat. I appreciate it a lot.
Anytime, brother. See you later.
No worries. Take care.